The Empire State Building is a 102-story Art Deco style super tall skyscraper in the Midtown South neighborhood of Manhattan in New York City. The building was designed by Shreve, Lamb, and Harmon and built from 1930 to 1931. Its name is derived from Empire State, the nickname of the state of New York. The building has a roof height of 1,250 feet, 380 meters, and stands a total of 1,454 feet, 443.2 meters, tall, including its antenna. The Empire State Building was the world's tallest building until the first tower of the World Trade Center was topped out in 1970. Following the September 11th attacks in 2001, the Empire State Building was once more New York City's tallest building until it was surpassed in 2012 by One World Trade Center. As of 2025, the building is the 8th tallest building in New York City, the 10th tallest completed skyscraper in the United States, and the 59th tallest completed skyscraper in the world. The site of the Empire State Building, on the west side of Fifth Avenue between West 33rd and 34th Streets, was developed in 1893 as the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. In 1929, Empire State Inc. acquired the site and devised plans for a skyscraper there. The design for the Empire State Building was changed 15 times until it was ensured to be the world's tallest building. Construction started on March 17, 1930, and the building opened 13 and a half months afterward on May 1, 1931. Despite favorable publicity related to the building's construction, because of the Great Depression and World War II, its owners did not make a profit until the early 1950s. The building's Art Deco architecture, height, and observation decks have made it a popular attraction. Around 4 million tourists from around the world annually visit the building's 86 and 100 second-floor observatories. An additional indoor observatory on the 80th floor opened in 2019. The Empire State Building is an international cultural icon. It has been featured in more than 250 television series and films since the film King Kong was released in 1933. The building's size has been used as a standard of reference to describe the height and length of other structures. A symbol of New York City, the building has been named as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world by the American Society of Civil Engineers. It was ranked first on the American Institute of Architects list of America's favorite architecture in 2007. Additionally, the Empire State Building and its ground floor interior were designated city landmarks by the New York City Landmarks Preservation Commission in 1980 and were added to the National Register of Historic Places as a National Historic Landmark in 1986. The Empire State Building is located on the west side of Fifth Avenue, between 33rd Street to the south and 34th Street to the north, in the Midtown South neighborhood of Manhattan in New York City. Tenants enter the building through the Art Deco lobby, located at 350 Fifth Avenue. Visitors to the observatories use an entrance at 20 West 34th Street. Prior to August 2018, visitors entered through the Fifth Avenue lobby. Although physically located in South Midtown, 18, a mixed residential and commercial area, the building is so large that it was assigned its own zip code, 10118. As of 2012, it is one of 43 buildings in New York City that have their own zip codes, 22. The areas surrounding the Empire State Building are home to other major points of interest, including Macy's at Herald Square on 6th Avenue and 34th Street, 25 and Koreatown on 32nd Street, between Madison and 6th Avenues, 2526. To the east of the Empire State Building is Murray Hill, 27, a neighborhood with a mix of residential, commercial, and entertainment activity. 28. The block directly to the northeast contains the B. Altman and Company Building, which houses the City University of New York's Graduate Center. 29. The nearest New York City subway stations are 34th Street, Herald Square, 1 block west, and 33rd Street at Park Avenue, 2 blocks east. There is also a PATH station at 33rd Street and 6th Avenue. 27. The Empire State Building was designed by Shreve, Lamb, and Harmon in the Art Deco style. 30. The Empire State Building is 1,250 feet, 381 meters, tall to its 102nd floor, or 1,453 feet, 8 plus 9, 16 inches, 443.092 meters, including its 203-foot, 61.9 meters, pinnacle. 31. It was the first building in the world to be more than 100 stories tall. 32, though only the lowest 86 stories are usable. The first through 85th floors contain 2.158 million square feet, 200,500 square meters, of commercial and office space, while the 86th floor contains an observatory. The remaining 16 stories are part of the spire, which is capped by an observatory on the 102nd floor. The spire does not contain any intermediate levels and is used mostly for mechanical purposes. Atop the 102nd story is the 203 feet, 61.9 meters, pinnacle, much of which is covered by broadcast antennas and surmounted with a lightning rod. The Empire State Building has a symmetrical massing because of its large lot and relatively short base. Its articulation consists of 3 horizontal sections, a base, shaft, and capital, similar to the components of a column. The 5-story base occupies the entire lot, while the 81-story shaft above it is set back sharply from the base. The setback above the 5th story is 60 feet, 18 meters, deep on all sides. 33. There are smaller setbacks on the upper stories, allowing sunlight to illuminate the interiors of the top floors, while also positioning these floors away from the noisy streets below. 3940. The setbacks are located at the 21st, 25th, 30th, 72nd, 81st, and 85th stories. 41. The setbacks correspond to the tops of elevator shafts, allowing interior spaces to be at most 28 feet, 8.5 meters, deep. See paragraph interior. The setbacks were mandated by the 1916 zoning resolution, which was intended to allow sunlight to reach the streets as well. Normally, a building of the Empire State's dimensions would be permitted to build up to 12 stories on the 5th Avenue side and up to 17 stories on the 33rd Street and 34th Street sides, before it would have to utilize setbacks. However, with the largest setback being located above the base, the tower stories could contain a uniform shape. According to architectural writer Robert A. M. Stern, the building's form contrasted with the nearly contemporary, similarly designed 500 Fifth Avenue 8 blocks north, which had an asymmetrical massing on a smaller lot. The Empire State Building's Art Deco design is typical of pre-World War II architecture in New York City. The facade is clad in Indiana limestone panels made by the Indiana Limestone Company and sourced from a quarry in south-central Indiana. The panels give the building its signature blonde color. According to official fact sheets, the facade uses 200,000 cubic feet, 5,700 cubic meters, of limestone and granite, 10 million bricks, and 730 short tons, 650 long tons, of aluminum and stainless steel. 53. The building also contains 6,514 windows. 54. The decorative features on the facade are largely geometric, in contrast with earlier buildings, whose decorations often were intended to represent a specific narrative. The main entrance, composed of 3 sets of metal doors, is at the center of the facade's Fifth Avenue elevation, flanked by molded piers that are topped with eagles. Above the main entrance is a transom, a triple-height transom window, with geometric patterns, and the golden letters Empire State above the fifth-floor windows. 5638, 57. There are two entrances each on 33rd and 34th Streets, with modernistic stainless steel canopies projecting from the entrances on 33rd and 34th Streets there. Above the secondary entrances are triple windows, less elaborate in design than those on Fifth Avenue. The storefronts on the first floor contain aluminum frame doors and windows within a black granite cladding. The second through fourth stories consist of windows alternating with wide stone piers and narrower stone mullions. The fifth story contains windows alternating with wide and narrow mullions and is topped by a horizontal stone sill. The facade of the tower stories is split into several vertical bays on each side, with windows projecting slightly from the limestone cladding. The bays are arranged into sets of 1, 2, or 3 windows on each floor. 5658. The bays are separated by alternating narrow and wide piers, the inclusion of which may have been influenced by the design of the contemporary Daily News building. 59. The windows in each bay are separated by vertical nickel-chrome steel mullions and connected by horizontal aluminum spandrels between each floor. 4157. The windows are placed within stainless steel frames, which saved money by eliminating the need to apply a stone finish around the windows. In addition, the use of aluminum spandrels obviated the need for cross-bonding, which would have been required if stone had been used instead. The building was originally equipped with white searchlights at the top. They were first used in November 1932 when they lit up to signal Roosevelt's victory over Hoover in the presidential election of that year. 60. These were later swapped for 4 Freedom lights in 1956. 60. In February 1964, floodlights were added on the 72nd floor 61 to illuminate the top of the building at night so that the building could be seen from the World Fair later that year. The lights were shut off from November 1973 to July 1974 because of the energy crisis at the time. 1976, the businessman Douglas Lee suggested that Wien and Helmsley install 204 metal halide lights, which were 4 times as bright as the 1,000 incandescent lights they were to replace. 64 new red, white, and blue metal halide lights were installed in time for the country's bicentennial that July. 63-65. After the bicentennial, Helmsley retained the new lights due to the reduced maintenance cost, about $116 a year. 64. Since October 12, 1977, the spire has been lit in colors chosen to match seasonal events and holidays. 56 organizations are allowed to make requests through the building's website. 66. The building is also lit in the colors of New York-based sports teams on nights when they host games. For example, orange, blue, and white for the New York Knicks. Red, white, and blue for the New York Rangers. The spire can also be lit to commemorate events including disasters, anniversaries, or deaths, as well as for celebrations such as Pride and Halloween. In 1998, the building was lit in blue after the death of singer Frank Sinatra, who was nicknamed Old Blue Eyes. 68. The structure was lit in red, white, and blue for several months after the September 11th attacks in 2001. 69. On January 13, 2012, the building was lit in red, orange, and yellow to honor the 60th anniversary of the NBC program, The Today Show. 70. After retired basketball player Kobe Bryant's January 2020 death, the building was lit in purple and gold, signifying the colors of his former team, the Los Angeles Lakers. The evening after iconic actor James Earl Jones died, September 9, 2024, The building was lit up to look like Jones's iconic Darth Vader villain from Star Wars. 72. In addition to lightings, the Empire State Building is able to do immersive visual projections on the building's exterior. It partnered with Netflix in May 2022 to celebrate the return of Stranger Things' fourth season by projecting the Upside Down onto the Empire State Building. 73. In 2012, the building's 400 metal halide lamps and floodlights were replaced with 1,200 LED fixtures, increasing the available colors from 9 to over 16 million. 74. The computer-controlled system allows the building to be illuminated in ways that were unable to be done previously with plastic gels. 75. For instance, CNN used the top of the Empire State Building as a scoreboard during the 2012 United States presidential election, using red and blue lights to represent Republican and Democratic electoral votes respectively. 76. Also on November 26, 2012, the building had its first synchronized light show using music from recording artist Alicia Keys. Artists such as Eminem and OneRepublic have been featured in later shows, including the building's annual Holiday Music to Lights show. The building's owners adhere to strict standards in using the lights. For instance, they do not use the lights to play advertisements. According to official fact sheets, the Empire State Building weighs 365,000 short tons, 331,122 metric tons, and has an internal volume of 37 million cubic feet, 1 million cubic meters. The interior required 1,172 miles, 1,886 kilometers, of elevator cable and 2 million feet, 609,600 meters, of electrical wires. It has a total floor area of 2,768,591 square feet, 257,211 square meters, and each of the floors in the base cover 2 acres, 1 hectare. This gives the building capacity for 20,000 tenants and 15,000 visitors. The site was previously owned by John Jacob Astor of the prominent Astor family, who had owned the site since the mid-1820s. In 1893, John Jacob Astor Sr.'s grandson, William Waldorf Astor, opened the Waldorf Hotel on the site. 4 years later, his cousin John Jacob Astor IV opened the 16-story Astoria Hotel on an adjacent site. The 2 portions of the Waldorf Astoria Hotel had 1,300 bedrooms, making it the largest hotel in the world at the time. After the death of its founding proprietor, George Bolt, in early 1918, the hotel lease was purchased by Thomas Coleman DuPont. By the 1920s, the old Waldorf Astoria was becoming dated, and the elegant social life of New York had moved much farther north. Additionally, many stores had opened on Fifth Avenue, north of 34th Street. The Astor family decided to build a replacement hotel on Park Avenue and sold the hotel to Bethlehem Engineering Corporation in 1928 for $14 to $16 million. The hotel closed shortly thereafter on May 3, 1929.